Time now for today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News has to deal with the NFL once again. So we were talking about Roman numerals. I was speaking with Vance a little earlier, and he said that his favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs. And Vance said that he likes the Chiefs. And Vance, once again, why did you like the Chiefs?
Because they win.
They win a lot, right? So they do. They certainly do win a lot. They've won the last couple of Super Bowls. And it's amazing how they win some of their games. But one of the interesting facts that we found out about the NFL is how many Uncrustables they eat. So before I get to this, Vance, do you eat Uncrustables?
I have before, but I don't really eat them anymore.
You don't eat them anymore?
No.
Now that you're in fourth grade because you're a little older or something?
No, I like eating normal sandwiches.
I'm only kidding you. So, Cindy, do you eat Uncrustables?
No.
No? All right. Well, I know a lot of students.
No.
Who does?
I said I have in the past.
Well, there you go. You know what? I think this is one of those delicacies I don't think I've ever had, because when we were growing up, there was no such thing as Uncrustables. You eat the whole sandwich. All right? There was no such thing as Uncrustables. Kids would just tear the crust off and toss it or whatever. So anyway, we're going to talk about Uncrustables today. So the NFL eats quite a bit of Uncrustables. So The Athletic talks about how many Uncrustables each team eats. So Vance said that he likes the Kansas City Chiefs because they win a lot. Funny, the Kansas City Chiefs only eat 80 Uncrustables a day.
Really?
All right? Now, that's more than some of the other teams, but not anywhere near some of these others. So 80 for the year is what it is, right? So Denver eats 700 for the entire year. Now, this is not every NFL team, because some NFL teams do not allow Uncrustables for one reason or another. Or they make their own peanut butter and jelly. They know the benefits of it, but they don't buy Uncrustables, they just make them. And what we're doing is, instead of representing 700 different Uncrustables, they made a graphic where each Uncrustable represents 10. So that we can see down here with New Orleans, we've got 5 Uncrustables. Each Uncrustable is equal to 10. Maybe your team's up there, perhaps it's not. So the next, we want to take a look at why do NFL players eat Uncrustables. So there actually is quite a bit of nutrition that goes into an Uncrustable because of the peanut butter and the jelly and the sandwich. So we're taking a look at the carbohydrates, right? And that's 10% of the need for an average person. So they need that for energy. Protein helps repair muscles that might get damaged during workouts. Fat to absorb nutrients. So that you can see each of these are listed. You've got total fats, carbohydrates, and protein. Obviously, when you're working out, you want a lot more protein. This is all based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet for an average adult. So we can see, now before we go on to the next graphic, we can see that 2 of these are highlighted. So an NFL player needs more calories than an average adult. For an average adult that is looking to stay on the healthier side, if you want to know if something is worth eating, you want to take the carbohydrates and the fiber. You divide the 2 numbers, the number of grams, the percents you don't need to worry about. Simply take the 2 numbers and divide them. If we take 28 and divide it by 2, we have 14. If the number is 5 or less, it's good for you, it's worth eating as far as a healthy lifestyle goes. Now this is 14. Not that it's bad, but for their intake and what they need, it's going to satisfy their requirements. But if you're just a person, you're trying to stay healthy, you're like, oh, you know what, I want an Uncrustable. Well, the difference here is 14, it's higher than 5. So obviously you can eat it, but you're going to have to do a lot more work to get rid of that you're eating. So anyway, just a little side thing for an average person that's trying to stay a little bit healthier than an NFL person. Our final one, we can see that the consumption, so we've got New Orleans down here at 50, we've got Chicago at 100, and Denver at 700. So we're kind of taking a look at the whole gamut of the Uncrustables here. So how many more times do the Broncos at 700 eat Uncrustables over the Bears and the Saints? Well, we can start with the Broncos eat 700. We know that Chicago, the Bears, eat 100, And we can see that the Saints eat 50. So we want to know how many more times do the Broncos eat Uncrustables over the Bears and the Saints? Well, let's just take the Saints and the Bears first of all right? So if they're eating 50 and they're eating 100, they're eating 2 times more than the Saints. If the Broncos are eating 700 compared to their 100, they're eating 7 times more than the Bears. So if we want to compare the Broncos to the Bears, they're eating 7 times more. The Bears to the Saints, it's twice as much. But if we want to go from the Broncos to the Saints, we can simply multiply these two, and that is 14 times more. Or if we did 14 times 50, we would get the 700. You can check, you can go 700 divided by the 50, you're also going to get 14 times. That, the Uncrustables, whether you like them or not, is today's Math in the News. We'll be back with a little bit more right after this.